Tick tick 1 2 1 2. What it do? What it do? Y'all come on in the building, baby. Come on in. Check 1 2 1 2. Get everybody a minute to get on in the room. Couple minutes to get in the algorithm. Hope y'all alright on a super Sunday. Check 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2 1 2. So Alabama Crimson Tide, man. Check 1 2 1 2. So the Tide is struggling. What is going on with the Tide, man? Make sure you get in the chat. Make sure you like, subscribe, man. Share the video. Just getting a couple things together here, letting some people get in the room. My guest's about to join in a minute.
Quarterback gets ready.
This guy's from Tuscaloosa. Spent some time in Tuscaloosa. We're gonna see what's going on with the Tide, man. Yeah, it's the Black L, baby. Make sure you come on in the room, man. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Appreciate all the new subscribers, man. Oh man, crazy weekend. Just crazy weekend. Uh, you know, did y'all see the Colorado game last night, man? Oh man, just crazy energy, man. We're gonna deep dive, uh, get some different perspective on what's going on with Alabama. Uh, just don't know what's going on with the Tide, man. As we know, they started off, monumental Georgia win early in the season. Come on down the line, you lose to Vanderbilt, terrible loss. You should have lost yesterday to South Carolina, you know what I'm saying? But you found a way to get a win. A win is a win. Uh, the defense was a little bit better yesterday, but you know, uh, it really wasn't enough. I'm still not seeing a pass rush. Uh, you know, the DBs are just non-existent. Like the big 6'5" boy when he caught it in the end zone, just no presence from the defensive back whatsoever, man. So I don't know what's going on with the Tide, man. Make sure y'all put in the comments, get the chat going, get the discussion going. What's wrong with Alabama? We're gonna try to make some sense of it today, man. I appreciate you, Stacy. Appreciate that, man. We trying to get there, you know. Just got to keep putting in the work, man. Appreciate that love. Make sure you spread the love, man. Share the video. Let people know we live, man. We gonna talk a little football today. You know, we do it all over here, man. Music, lifestyle, sports, just stuff that's dear to me. That's all, man. Waiting on my guy to come on in the room, Mr. Abraham Belt from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Spend some time in Tuscaloosa, kind of give us a perspective on the ground, what the people feeling, what the people saying in Tuscaloosa. Gonna bring you that perspective, man. Stay tuned. One sec. Hey Siri, pull up Alabama Crimson Tide, South Carolina box score. Just give my guy some time to get on in the room, man. That's all. Chip. That dude, what it do?
Yeah, what's good? What's good?
There he is, baby. What's going on, brother?
And just trying to make it through this college football season.
How you feel, man?
We live now?
We live, baby. We live.
Hey man. Uh I think it's interesting. Honestly. Seems like the playing field is completely even. There is no clear just dominant team out there that's gonna go undefeated every year. So
Indeed.
uh yeah, so I like it, honestly.
Yeah. I was saying a couple weeks ago, I think it's headed toward like March Madness. You know what I'm saying? In basketball, that's kind of where I feel like it's headed, man. The
Yeah,
old days of just one team dominating is coming to an end.
yeah, I can see that. I don't know if they're gonna expand it from a 12 to 16 team playoff, but I'm anxious to see how this 12 team playoff is gonna play out. Because I think those smaller schools like uh, Boise, Appalachian State, you know, just to make the playoffs will be great for their program. And
Exactly.
some of some of those programs are like uh, like staples in college football, like Appalachian State, Troy State. You know, so I'm anxious to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I don't think it'll go to the scale of a 60 team tournament because you know like you say, the boys is in them smaller school, they couldn't compete, but 12, maybe a 24, I could see it, man, with the money game involved in it. But yeah, we're gonna get there, man. Just want to introduce my guest. Man, so tonight we're gonna get an Alabama perspective. You see, he got the War Eagle shirt on. I ought to kick him off for that, but we gonna keep it professional. We gonna keep it professional. But this guy
Let's go.
spent time in Tuscaloosa, on the ground many years, still goes there to this day. So we just kind of want to see what the people are saying. Uh, First off, man, what's going on with Auburn, man? Where are uh where is Auburn going? Uh, is this coaching staff gonna be around, to see the turnaround? Who is Auburn right now?
That's a good question, but just to answer it fairly, uh, Auburn is they're remember it's year 2 from a complete rebuild, and they also changed offensive and defensive coordinators as well. So it's like a complete start over. But with that being said, Auburn is it's very optimistic because we've been in every game that we've played.
Yeah.
Uh, we've really dominated most games that we played, aside from the turnovers, like 4 interceptions one game, 3 or 4 the next game, a crucial one against Oklahoma, a game in which we dominated from start to almost finish.
Yeah.
You when you analyze those games and you go back and look at the replays and um, you see like it's simple mistakes that they're making. Well, that our quarterback is making, and sometimes questionable coaching calls, like far as time management. We could easily be 5-0. I know that's like a running joke this year, you know,
But
but
no, you right.
but it is, you know. I think we've closed the talent gap. We can compete with anybody. It's
Yeah.
just as far as putting it together, and I think next year, at the end of this year, we're going to have to go to the portal and get a quarterback specific to the RPO system.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, when I watch those games, I see people wide open, just like this, all game long.
Yeah.
But as bad as our quarterback has played, he's still fifth in the SEC in yardage, touchdowns. We have a receiver top 5. He probably be our first 1,000-yard wide receiver in 20 years.
Yeah.
We're dominating while we're running, but we don't give him the ball enough. He still has almost 600 yards. So
I
uh,
think you want to see a complete game from Auburn. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You
exactly.
you see flashes here and there. You know they got talent. This Alabama. You know what I'm saying? But you just
Mhm.
want to see Auburn put it together, and get back. You're not gonna sleepwalk, into going into Auburn and just thinking you're gonna roll over them. That ain't gonna happen, man. Uh, but I do kind of want to touch on Alabama, man.
Yes, sir.
So early season win against Georgia. You know, you get a huge to me. So this is my breakdown. Georgia is your Super Bowl, right? Subconsciously Georgia is your Super Bowl. So you knock out Georgia, so you're on top of the world. Obviously, the next week you got Vanderbilt, which is a trap game. So naturally you're gonna kind of play down to your competition. And you get bit. You know what I'm saying? You're hearing whispering, you the best player in the nation, you the Heisman, we got the best receiver. So, naturally, I'm gonna play down to anybody who's beneath me. I'm not gonna get up for those games. It's starting to seem like to me this Alabama team, they only want to get up for the big games. You know what I'm saying? Because they give Auburn some love. The fuck you lying?
Stop the cap.
Stop the cap, man. Come on. But with all due respect to Auburn, but it feel like this Alabama team, man. They only want to get up for the big games. You know what I'm saying? Because they know they got some of the best players in the world. You know what I'm saying? So why do I have to get up for Vanderbilt, South Carolina, and we see what's happening? I want to ask you from a leadership standpoint. The new coach, Kalen DeBoer. To me, the Nick Saban era has officially ended. You know what I'm saying? We're kind of seeing who this administration is, what they are about. Do you see DeBoer kind of righting the ship? And what is wrong with Alabama Crimson Tide in your eye?
Well, for one, I don't think the Nick Saban era has officially ended just yet,
Hmm.
because Nick Saban players are still there.
Right.
So, with that being said, you know, they're going to have to find some heart. They're going to have to, hey, you know, talent wise, Alabama is top tier, at the top of the food chain. So they should dominate just off, numbers alone,
Right.
talent alone. They should dominate every game. But thing is, other teams are getting that same talent. Diego Pavia, the quarterback for Vanderbilt, was a quarterback at New Mexico State last year. The same New Mexico State that came to Auburn and dominated us.
Wow. Look at that.
Their coach at New Mexico State is on Vanderbilt's staff. Vanderbilt has used the transfer portal and upgraded some of their talent. So it's not the same Vanderbilt, whereas it's not just Alabama sleepwalking. It's Vanderbilt has upgraded their talent, and you see it week in and week out.
Indeed.
They missed the field goal to beat Missouri, and they just beat Kentucky.
Just beat Kentucky.
And so
Yeah.
this is not
This ain't your grandpa's Vanderbilt.
2-11 Vanderbilt. This
Yeah.
is Big Vandy over there. So, but that's throughout the league.
Yeah.
I think Kalen DeBoer is trying to find his way. It's a different culture there. Some things we don't see. Like, for example, Alabama's running after what Jam Miller. I think he only rushed for 42 yards yesterday.
Yeah. Right.
Winning any Saban game, have the running back just rush for 42 yards. So it's things like that. Let me see. Let me look at these stats. Yeah. Milrow, well, he was 16 for 23, 209 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Sellers, South Carolina's quarterback, was 23-31, 2 TDs, 1 interception. But South Carolina had 4 turnovers. That game should have been out of hand.
Indeed.
But I think Alabama, they're gonna really have to hone in, and because their schedule is only going to get tougher. They have LSU, Tennessee
Tennessee next week.
Auburn. They have somebody else. Who else do they have? It's not A&M. It's somebody. Who else does Alabama have? Or do they have another bye?
I know they go to Tennessee next week.
Oh, and Mercer.
They got Mercer.
And Oklahoma. So they should be favored in most of those games, but those are not just easy games. Most
Not
of
at
those are
all.
tough.
Because
So,
like what you just said about Vanderbilt, you know what I'm saying? And the way Alabama's playing, they gonna be in a shootout every week. But like I said, to me, I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like this team, they like the bright lights, man, because they know they know they're explosive. They know they're dynamic. I think they only really want to get up for the big games. Unfortunately, it's no excuse. You know what I'm saying? I want to ask you, you know, I guess Kalen DeBoer's demeanor. We're so used to Saban, being a pit bull even when they up 40 points. You know what I'm saying? He ripping players to shreds. But DeBoer, regardless of what's going on, he's just stoic. He's a positive, peaceful mindset. You know, can you trust that going to war? Are we watching a master at work? Or can we really trust DeBoer? Speak to the Alabama fans on that point.
well, cooler heads always prevail. Uh, but with that being said, it's all about the connection that you have with your players on and off the field. Practice field being the first field. Uh, so if they trust him, which I believe they do, they're gonna go to war. Now, this is where I will disagree because I'm not impressed by Georgia.
Mm,
I mean, Georgia is not the same Georgia as last year,
right.
and I think people are rushing to a conclusion that Alabama beat Georgia, which they almost lost it. They let Georgia
Yeah.
storm back.
Indeed.
So that's the hardest game on the schedule for them in their eyes, and most people's eyes. That's like you said, it's like their Super Bowl. But at the
Right.
same time, I believe that talent has spread all across their schedule.
In hindsight, so what you're saying is in hindsight, that Georgia game ain't as big as what we thought it was.
Yes, it was. It's not an impressive win.
Yeah.
Now I can see if they dominated Georgia, like they was what 28-0, you
Right.
know, 41-10. Okay, you got my attention.
Right.
But you let Georgia score what 21-24 unanswered, like in
Yeah.
the second half,
Yep.
and a couple pass interferences is like, hey,
So,
that could have been Georgia's game.
very easily. And to that point, to let them come back, I want to ask you about the defense. We know what this offense is. We know Miro can strike lightning at any point. We know who the weapons are. We know, but the defense, the last maybe 8 quarters, they played better yesterday, but still want to see more pressure. The defensive backs are pretty much non-existent. Uh, you know, Alabama always has all-star linebackers, but this year, where's the linebacker? Superstar, stud linebacker is not there. So the last 6 or 8 quarters of defense has been non-existent. Um, can you see this team getting to Atlanta for an SEC, possibly making noise in the college football playoff with this defense currently?
They're always a possibility. I mean, from an Auburn fan, I mean, this is it's still Bama. They still have the talent.
Yeah.
Uh, what's I think it's Kane Womack from
Yeah.
South Alabama is the defensive
Right.
coordinator.
Right.
I mean, it's a change, and sometimes systems just don't always. It takes time for people to learn the system, and I'm
Right.
not sure, what's going on, but you know, maybe it's execution, maybe it's communication. It's certainly not the talent.
Right.
So at this point in the season, you have a fair idea of exactly who you are as a team. So it's going to be a lot of soul searching because you squeeze one out against South Florida, you squeezed another one out against Georgia. Vandy dominated that game from beginning to end. South Carolina came to Tuscaloosa and almost did the unthinkable with a two-game losing
Almost
streak.
put the nail in the coffin.
So I think what happened to Alabama yesterday may have been the wake-up call that Vandy wasn't.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think that they can still right the ship, but it's gonna have to be mistake free. And right now they're kind of a two-trick pony. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
let Miro run and catch Hollywood on the fly.
Yeah.
If you can stop that, you know, you have a fighting chance of beating Alabama.
Got a real chance.
Yeah, but no, Alabama's still a good team. I think they will drop two more games. Maybe it's LSU, Missouri, Auburn, because I don't think the Iron Bowl is going to be a pushover. Uh, but I think they will drop two games. I'm not sure, but they can get to Atlanta. There's a path for them to get to Atlanta. They're still in it,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's going to be a grind. They're going to have to fight every game. There's no more blowouts in their schedule other than Mercer.
Nah, they gonna be in a dog fight the rest of the way, like you say. They got Tennessee next week, going to Tennessee. Tennessee isn't, early in the season, Tennessee was scaring me a little bit. I was like, man, okay. But, as the SEC progresses, you start seeing, what's the real, who's the fake. Tennessee isn't as scary anymore. But again, if Bama comes in, slow starting, not really showing up on defense, it could be a problem next week. How do you see it next week going to Tennessee?
Going to Tennessee is going to be exciting. Because one thing about Tennessee, yeah, their offense is kind of up and down right now, but their defense is consistent. Their defense is legit. So if they can do what South Carolina did as far, on the defensive side of the ball, keep Alabama 17, 14 points in the first half, or even zero.
Play keep away.
Well, they're not designed to play keep away.
They're not. They're not. But that's the formula we see that's beating Bama. Do you want to shoot it out with Bama or do you want to play keep away?
Yeah, but one thing about it is with Alabama, if they cannot establish the run,
Yeah.
I mean, 42 yards and putting Milrow, having to get your rushing yards through Milrow is not a formula for success, because that wear and tear and possibly an injury is gonna be bad.
It's gonna loom. You're right.
Gonna be bad. But uh, I would give the edge to Tennessee, but I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama pulled it out. They certainly can. Let me just Alabama can win this game, but it's going to take extreme effort and execution for them to win this game. I'm
Like you
going
said, go ahead. Go ahead.
24-17 Tennessee.
24-17 Tennessee. There it is. War Eagle, baby. I would have been with you maybe 2 weeks ago, but like I say, to me, where it stands, Bama and Tennessee both had some problems. You know what I'm saying? I think it's gonna come down to who can correct the most problems next week. You know what I'm saying? And which quarterback can keep away from making that huge? Because it's gonna be a tight, thick, electric game. Who can stay away from that critical turnover late in the game? Ultimately it'll be the deciding factor to me. But to go back to the running game from Alabama, I'm just looking at these stats, man. 42 yards from Jam Miller, Miro 36 yards. Uh, Justin saying, like, when has Alabama never had a running attack, man? All the Heisman greats, just a total non-existent running game, no linebacker play, you know what I'm saying? like I said earlier, the Saban era is ending not from a player standpoint, but just from a mental standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Saban said something yesterday on College Game Day. Quote: "Suffer." Uh, he said, "Suffer the pain of discipline, or suffer the pain of disappointment." You know what I'm saying? We see, you know, an undisciplined football team out there, man. You know, just bad tackling from my standpoint. Like I say, non-existent running back play, no linebackers, DBs are young, not there. Uh, you know, I think they can get it done next week, man. But like I say, if you play the formula, keep away, keep away. I don't think you still want to shoot it out with Bama because this team is electric. You know what I'm saying? They can strike lightning at any moment. Miro has shown that. But yeah, man, I got us barely squeaking by Tennessee, but it ain't gonna be easy, man. It ain't gonna
What's
be easy at all.
what's the score prediction for Tennessee?
Score, I say 31-25, Bama.
31-25. Only reason I say it'll probably Tennessee for the because Tennessee can run the ball a little bit. They can run it effectively, but they can stretch the field. And
Yeah,
Alabama DBs have shown to be a weakness where it should be a strong point. So
yeah,
I believe that Alabama's going to have to bring a lot of pressure, and that's going to open up some spots on the field for Tennessee quarterback to, you know, pick them apart or test and see like, hey, you keep rushing, you keep blitzing. I'm going to expose this defense, and we're going to be
yeah,
up 20 points quick.
yeah. Quick.
So
I agree.
outside of that, I would have Bama favored. But if Bama had a strong running game against South Carolina yesterday, then I would have leaned Bama. But to see Jam Miller with only 42 yards, that's discouraging because Tennessee is to me has a better defense and more physical than
Dang.
South Carolina. They're gonna be at home and they're gonna want it. You know
They
what I'm saying?
gonna eat. They gonna
Uh,
want to eat, man.
exactly. So just from a psychological standpoint, I believe Tennessee is gonna win that game.
And then I noticed how, side note, I noticed how Bama, once they start to get bogged down, they'll line Miro in the shotgun and just let them run right or left.
Yes,
Man, it's the most frustrating thing to watch. You know what I'm saying?
it's effective. But see, that's the thing. It's effective, and that's been some of Alabama's most explosive plays.
Yeah.
Those power runs to the left and right with Miro. But what happens? Because he got up kind of gingerly one
Like
play.
you like you said.
What happens if he he gets injured or he's just wearing down? You
Yeah.
know, because he has the arm, he's talented. He can throw the deep ball with the best of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tennessee rushed for 100. Well, Sampson from Tennessee rushed for 112 yards and 3 touchdowns yesterday.
Yeah. So yeah, man, just to recap, Alabama takes South Carolina down, survives a scare in Bryant Denny, Saban Field in Tuscaloosa, 27-25. Uh, just a wild game, man. Just a wild game. Uh, Next week, go to Tennessee, the Tennessee Volunteers in Knoxville. Uh, y'all make sure you like and subscribe, man. Put down in the comments what you think. What's the problem with this Bama team? Where do you see him going? Uh, we got the man, Abraham Belt, man. Again, spent significant time in Alabama. As you see, he got the War Eagle on. So, Belt, what are the people saying? Are you in Mobile right now or Jackson?
I'm in Jackson, but uh, I've talked with my diehard Alabama
Yeah,
fans.
I know you. I know you. You got your ear to the streets. What are the people saying about Alabama? What's the temperature? What's the vibe? Because side note, I was listening to one guy on the Paul Feinbaum show, and pretty reputable guy. He was like, the loss to Vandy, is strike one. You know what I'm saying? If he would have lost to Carolina, they would have sent the U-Haul to his house. So,
Yeah.
but what you saying? This ain't the same Vandy. So, is the Vandy game a strike one? What's the vibe from the people, man? What's the word?
Well, people have to realize that college football is changing. You know, and it's gonna take a certain type of patience. Uh, you have to extend grace to these coaches to get their program the way that they want it. They're gonna take lumps. Uh, Nick Saban didn't inherit a bad program from Mike Shula. He didn't inherit it, but he went to what 6-7 his first year and lost to ULM. So you have to be patient, but you also have to realize that Nick Saban is a once in a lifetime coach. You're gonna take some L's here and there, but some are in denial. Some are understanding, like it's expected to happen. Some are optimistic. So it's a range of all perspectives. But most for the most part, the Bama fans that I've talked to are uh, optimistic. They believe they can get it done uh, without any real facts or arguments. It's they just believe that since they're Bama, they're going to out talent everybody. So they're going to win. Well, we're going to beat Tennessee. How? We're going to beat LSU. How? You know, and I respect everybody's opinion, but the games still have to be played.
Same question about Auburn.
Mm.
What's the vibe? You know,
Here,
what are the people saying? Where Auburn's going?
most Auburn fans are waiting for that signature win. That can, what? If we beat Oklahoma, we can turn our season around. If we can beat Missouri, we can turn our season around. So right now, Auburn, we went from right here, like, hey, we got a chance to be 5-0 going into Georgia. Now we're 2-4, and we're like, let's see if we can make a bowl game. So we know our problems. We know that we need a QB. We know that we have to exercise patience, but it's still, like, hey, this is like 4 or 5 losing seasons in a row, and it's unacceptable. So it's a lot of people are being impatient. Uh, you know, I'm one of them, but I am, because I don't miss my Auburn games. But it's 90% discouraging and 10%, optimism.
Yeah.
I would say.
I mean, what's the problem with Auburn? Because I always say, you know, the hell with the 5 and the 4 stars. Alabama has enough talent, to get some of these country 3 stars and hungry 2 stars to still put a good product on the field. Is it an administration problem? Is it the players? Like, what is it? Pinpoint it.
Well, I mean, it's for Auburn over the years. We've had a swinging door, not with just head coaches, but with offensive coordinators. We haven't had steady quarterback development at Auburn, for one. Uh, Bo Nix was probably like the last quarterback that had the juice, but at the same time, they didn't know how to develop Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Gus Malzahn's offense, it limits quarterbacks and receivers. It's a run first play action spread. And receivers have certain routes that they have to run. They can't break off any routes, any options. They have certain routes. Like I know this offense like the back of my hand. Um, and it limits them. So we haven't really just been able to recruit the quarterback talent. And then Brian Harsin came in and he barely recruited. Gus kind of stopped recruiting linemen. That was our first problem. Brian Harsin really stopped recruiting, period, especially in the Alabama. So with Hugh Freeze coming in, he's recruiting the state of Alabama. He's inside to out, and he's recruiting coast to coast, and he's seeing results. Like right now, like we're top 4, top 3. We might end up with the number 1 class if we flip these other 2 recruits.
Yeah, I saw that.
So,
but take it back from the Cam Newton championship. Like, where was the it seemed like they were poised to go on a serious run, an Alabama type run, but where was the ball drop? I know things happen, everybody can't win every year, but
well, it goes to the quarterback. After Cam, I think we had Barrett Trotter and Clint Mosley. Or I can't remember right now, but the things over the years, we have not just had the best quarterback.
Yeah, it has been some lackluster quarterback.
And we also had more offensive coordinators than we should, because once a quarterback gets into a rhythm, gets comfortable in an offense, he leaves, takes another job. He gets fired, or the coach leaves, gets fired. So it's offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. We don't have stability. And I believe this year, with this administration that we have and this coaching staff, that we're going to be allowed to keep it intact for a period of time. And I believe that really matters, because kids, they're coming in, of course they want the money, they want the NIL, they want the playing time, but they also need to know, like, hey, I'm building this recruiting relationship with this coach. So that's been one of Auburn's problems.
I got you. To shift gears, man, let's go out west. The Colorado Buffaloes, man. Primetime Deion Sanders, man. Give it up for him. So Colorado early in the year, man, they started off pretty good, started to stumble, was catching real heat, in the media or whatever. People were kind of selling the stock, getting off the bandwagon. Then, they turn around, 4-1? Uh, you know, big game last night against Kansas State. They dropped it 31-28. Did you get a chance to watch that game?
I watched it like the first half, then I fell asleep.
Yeah, it was late, man. Them West Coast games.
They prime the only one that can get us to stay up that late.
So. Ain't it, man? Because I promise you. But yeah, Colorado, they dropped it last night, 31-28 to the 18th ranked Kansas State Wildcats. Just a crazy game, man. Kansas State had the running game just going off. The guy Gideon had 281 yards. I'm sorry, 182 yards, but they had a total of 185 yards rushing to Colorado's. Guess Colorado's rushing number last night, Bill.
What, about 36 yards, something like that?
Negative 29 rushing yards, man.
That's probably from sacks, though.
Just total no running game, non-existent. Shedeur was there, man. He was making plays, threw a bad pick late in the game in the end zone. But they still found a way to fight back. They took the lead with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. uh, touchdown, took the lead, then they came right back and let Kansas State just run down their throat to score to go ahead and ultimately win 31-28. What do you see? Uh, who is this Colorado team, man? We know they got Hunter and Shador, the skilled players. Obviously, no running game. The defense has been better. The interior, has been better this year. Uh, Give me a winning record uh, for Colorado. Where do you see them ending up at? Could they possibly get in a bowl? Maybe squeak in the playoffs? The Big 12 to me is not intimidating. I think they'll be in every game the rest of the way. If not winning a lot of those games, they're getting better week by week. Had they won last night, this would have been a huge validation game. You know what I'm saying? To really take prime into another conversation in college football. But ultimately they drop it. But they're still 4-2. Where do you see this team going, man? Give me a breakdown of the whole Colorado circus. You know?
Um, you try not to hang your hat on moral victories, but being down Travis Hunter, I think Jimmy Horn and another guy, another wide receiver, uh, during the game, like hurt. Uh, and that may be, you know, a 7-10 point swing in that game.
Yeah.
Um, Kansas State just out physical Colorado. When you run the ball for 182 yards, you're controlling that line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And that's been Colorado's problem.
Yeah.
Stopping the run, they have been better. But when you have a team that's determined to run and they're going to run and you know it and they still run and it's effective, you're going to have problems. And it's not a bad loss. Now, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But like you said, I believe they're going to be in every game because I had them losing this game.
Mm.
But I have them winning Cincinnati. I have them winning. Who else do they play? Arizona.
Yep.
I,
Arizona. I want to
I,
say is
Arizona.
Utah in there? Let's see. Let's pull it up real quick.
Yeah, they're definitely going to get to a bowl game.
Yeah. So they got Arizona coming. They go to Arizona rather. Texas Tech, Kansas, Cincinnati. That's a dub. Utah isn't as scary this year, and plus that's a home game to end up with Oklahoma State. Hey man, I
So
see
it's two more wins on that schedule.
at least I'm gonna
Yeah,
give them 3. Arizona's a little better this year.
yeah, they are. I think they'll beat Texas Tech, and I
Ka-
believe they'll
Kansas,
they may beat Kansas, but Kansas is probably similar to Kansas State.
yeah.
So
What about Cincinnati? What you got next week?
they'll beat Cincinnati. They'll beat Cincinnati. Uh, so it may be 2-3 wins on there still. And that's good because that'll put them at 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 wins. If
Yep.
if luck falls on them, close games, they know how to win close games.
Yeah, they do.
So that's an intangible piece of the puzzle that they have. So they know how to win close games and fight back. So yeah, I'm looking forward to. I'm actually surprised that they're doing this well this year. But I'm pulling for him because Shador, he's the truth. I like Jimmy Horn a lot. I like this Webster guy a lot.
Yeah,
Of course, Travis Hunter is, he's up there in the Heisman
that
talk.
dude.
Yeah, he is. But one thing I'm scared of is that they're going to overuse Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
They're going to wear him down, and he's going to either get seriously hurt being on both sides of the ball. I think
Yeah.
they need to kind of pick and choose, like, hey, you know, 127 snaps in a game, that's a lot.
And yeah,
They
that's a
need they
lot.
need 20 to 30 meaningful. You know what I'm saying? Make, like, hey, limit his offensive snaps. You know,
Yeah.
put
Yeah,
him in.
keep him on D, but then give him some packages on offense,
Yeah, instead
you
of,
know.
start and roll. Like,
Yeah.
kind of want. I would want this. First quarter, maybe the first half of the third quarter, and all of the fourth quarter. You
Yeah.
know, I want them. I want them fresh. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Try
I
to
know
get,
what you're saying.
and then if you get the early lead and you need some explosiveness on the back end, put them in there.
You're right. And if, they keep winning and they're in some meaningful games, down the line, they're gonna have to adapt another strategy. Because like you said, I don't know if they can keep this pace up. But to me, the thing about Travis Hunter, it seems like his offense plays off of his defense, and his defense plays off of his offense. You know what I'm saying? He gets spark from both. So, do
Mm.
you want to take that away? What do you do?
To be honest, I don't know, but you know, I- it's you just don't want to lose your guy
Yeah,
to wear and tear throughout the season, because Travis Hunter in the fourth quarter, game four, is gonna probably be a different Travis Hunter 6,000 plays later in the fourth quarter, game 13. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? So, but I don't know. I hope he does, and I hope he can maintain this, because I do want to see him in Colorado succeed. But you have a lot of players on there
Yeah,
out there. Somebody else has to step up. At some point, hey, he can't play every snap on both sides of the ball.
somebody got to say something. I know it's beautiful to watch, but
If you're dependent on him, he goes down. Who do you lean on?
and we kind of saw it last night. But some
Yeah.
guys did step up. NFL speaking, do you see him being a dual threat at the next level, or where do you see him and Shador going in the draft?
Well, I don't think they'll be going to the same place where they're going to be high draft picks, unless somebody trades up to get them, and they're going to be trading a lot. But I believe he can. I believe they'll test it out, but the NFL going to want you to fine tune what you specialize in.
Right.
You know, so I mean, they may have some packages in there for him, like, hey, we're going to give you a couple shots downfield, during the game.
Mhm.
But we also just spent $20 million on this guy over here too that can do the
Yeah.
same. so,
Yeah. Yeah. I
so
feel you on that. He'll definitely be a DB. To me, if I'm a businessman in the NFL, he gotta be a DB. He's just too valuable,
oh yeah,
not to have him on that side of the ball. Where you,
he's
where
de-
you see Shador going, man? Top 10?
oh yeah, like he is he's a field general. The hits that he's taken, the confidence that he shows in the pocket. He's fairly mobile. His arm is golden. Like,
Yep.
he's first round top 10,
Yep.
easy.
Yeah.
He may be the first or third quarterback to get drafted. You know,
Nah, I agree. I'm high on Shador, man. It's a great thing to watch. That dude, man, he like a good old Chevy truck, man. You just count on him. You know what I'm saying? He just keep going. You know,
exactly.
beautiful thing to watch, man. That's the Colorado Buffaloes, man, sitting at 4-2. Again, 2 or 3 more wins, possibly, man. Do you see Prime staying? After his kids graduate, what's the long term view?
I know I hear about people saying, well, he's gonna try to go be an NFL coach, or he'll take a Florida job, or, to be honest, I don't know. If I was Dion, I would probably stay in Colorado and try to build it. But if he leaves right after his sons and Travis leave, then it's like, you know, he hasn't proved that he's a program builder.
Right.
So where would he go? He hasn't really recruited at the level that people thought he would. Even though it's Colorado, they were 1-11. They're kind of far away from the deep south where most of the recruits come from.
Right.
Now, if Colorado was centrally located or in the southeast or east coast, I think he would do fairly well in recruiting, better than he has. But I guess some kids don't want to travel that far.
Right.
And I'm not sure about the NIL money out there either, but I don't see him really getting offered to go anywhere until he proves that, you know, when his sons, without his sons, without Travis, can he recruit? Can he win?
But see, that's the thing. I don't think Prime is selling right now program builder. He's selling, you know, multi-billion, I'm gonna bring in the revenue, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get all the eyeballs on you. You know what I'm saying? Let's catch that fire and see how far we can go. I kind of think that's what he's selling. Not to say that he can't be a program builder, but I think, just being a smart marketing man, you know what I'm saying? He's saying, let's use my brand and use the fame, you know what I'm saying? The stars. Let's kind of stay in that lane right now and see how far we could take it before we gotta sit down and build something.
But see, that works for Colorado because Colorado was an afterthought.
Yeah,
You can't take that mentality to a sustained national brand like Florida. We don't need that.
yeah,
We are who
yeah,
we are.
yeah,
We People going to come here anyway, so
yeah.
we don't all of the theatrics and all of that, or because we were great before you got here.
Right.
So that would have to be comparable to a team similar to Colorado, maybe a Rutgers, or maybe
Yeah.
and if it's that case, it's still program building.
Still program building. You're right.
He's using his marketing to bring people, recruits, and money there. Other programs that like, hey, you know, just say if Kirby leaves and go to the NFL, does Georgia need marketing? No.
Right.
Does it need marketing? No.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe Prairie View, Texas. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's just like, who is he going to sell that to? Who needs that?
Right.
People, when even at Auburn, like I wanted him to come to Auburn because
Mm.
right outside of Atlanta, a place he's familiar with, he's
Yep.
gonna Auburn is going to get their fair share of players, no matter who the coach is.
No matter.
So, I wanted him to go to a program that's not at the bottom, that he can come in and make an impact immediately, and not have to start from scratch. But, he went to Colorado, and like I said, that was a one-win team. And half the team left, over half. So he's basically building up. And it's gonna take time because you have to have depth. Because nowadays you just don't have four linemen starting the whole game from start to finish. You have
Nope.
like 8, 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting, but I wouldn't suggest he leave Colorado just yet until he has a, you know what, when I got here, this team was here. I brought this team from here to here.
Yep.
Right now, he's kind of still here.
Put his head down and just build it. And I agree with you, man. I like to see that. But we'll see. We really don't know. We'll see.
I like
Uh,
they
Go ahead. Go
people.
ahead. Go ahead. You was gonna say something, bro?
Oh no, I'm saying
I got you. I got you.
I like Prime.
Before we go, man, I know it's Sunday. We're gonna spend some time with the family and eat some good food. But I want to get your thoughts on the Texas Longhorns, the number one Texas Longhorns. A big win yesterday in the Red River Shootout, taking down Oklahoma. Uh, like this Texas team, got an Alabama guy head coach, got a couple Alabama transfers, skilled players. Of course, we know about Arch Manning, Quinn Ewers, Heisman guys. Is Texas for real? Do you see them catching any L's in the SEC? How far is Texas going this year?
Well, Texas is they're legit. You know, I'm not sure if they will lose this season. I think they can beat Georgia. Uh, they went to Michigan to the big house and dominated,
Yeah.
and I mean dominated.
Yeah.
You know, they dominated Oklahoma. They had a close game. What was that against Mississippi State?
Yeah.
Uh, I believe that they are probably the most complete team out there. Now,
Agreed.
any given Saturday in the SEC, you may be off your game just a little bit, and that can cost you a perfect season.
Mhm.
So let me look at their schedule. Who else do
Yeah,
they
yeah,
have?
yeah. No, they don't play Bama this year. So
Let's see. Let's see.
we got Georgia coming up. Again, we trust Georgia? You know what I'm saying? Gotta
I
gotta
believe
go. Go
closer
ahead. Go
game.
ahead.
I believe it'll be a closer game.
Yeah.
So they have Georgia, Vanderbilt, Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky, and A&M. Now, I believe A&M will probably be the team that will beat them,
Hmm. Yeah, I can see that too.
and that will be like the first time they played in years, and they're playing at A&M. Uh, I don't see
That's
Kentucky.
gonna be a big game. Very big game.
Arkansas may give them a little trouble. Uh,
Yeah. And it's
I,
at that ain't gonna be easy, man. At Arkansas. And we know what Vandy is now.
I'm not surprised if Van is sitting at number one in the SEC for a second.
You feel me?
So, I
Hey,
mean,
like you say, any given Saturday in the SEC, man, if Texas ain't on their game, it can happen.
yeah, they have a favorable schedule, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do week in and week out. I watched the. That was my first time watching a complete Red River rivalry game,
Hmm,
and they look pretty good. But we also know Oklahoma just didn't have their weapons out there.
right.
But Ewers, he came in a little rusty, but he warmed up, and I believe they'll be ready for Georgia. Now, not saying they're just going to steamroll Georgia, but I believe they have what it takes to beat Georgia. Uh, but you just never know until you play the game. So I think that's a toss up, but I will lean Texas right now. Uh, I will lean Texas,
Yeah.
and because I just think Sark and Kirby, they know each other. They know what to expect, and I think that will always be in favor of the offensive coordinator. I think he can probably out scheme Kirby in the first half and get up,
Mm,
and Kirby's going to make the second half adjustments like he always does. And Texas winning.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, Texas playing with a lot of swagger, man, a lot of confidence. I like this Texas team. We'll see. We will see, man. But we'll stop it right there, man. Super Sunday, baby. Shout out to Mr. Abraham Bell, Alabama's own, on the ground, getting the vibe from the people, man. I'll give it up for him, baby. Where you gonna be this weekend coming up, man?
Actually, I'll probably be in Mobile.
Oh yeah,
I'll be in Mobile this weekend.
oh yeah. I
Yeah.
got you. I got you. But brother, we gonna do it again. Hopefully, man, very soon. I like to check in with you in the middle of the week. Definitely get the recap after next weekend. Give it to the people raw, man, on the ground, inside of Mr. Abraham Belt. We gonna holler at you, big brother. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, we out of here, y'all. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the like button, man. Share the videos, share the live. Sign up for the newsletter. Black L, man. TikTok at Black Elvis. Appreciate the love, baby. We do it all, man. Music, sports, whatever you need, we gonna try to feed you right, man. Give you the uncut truth, raw and direct, baby. Once again, Mr. Abraham Belt. Check him out. How can they find you, brother?
I am Silent Partner on Instagram and Abraham Bet on Facebook.
There it is. There it is. Well, yeah, we're gonna bring them back, man, to really break down what's going on next week. Get some more predictions. Yeah, man, y'all stay tuned. We out, baby.